On March 1st, 2024, Akira Toriyama, manga author and artist well known for his works on the Dragon Ball series, among others, has passed away. He was 68 years old. In this video, I would like to make a tribute in honor of his memory, and I would like to talk about how Akira Toriyama's works have basically influenced pop culture not only in Japan but also around the world. Akira Toriyama is well known for such works as Dr. Slump and the Dragon Ball series, and he has for many people not only in Japan but in many countries around the world has become part of their childhoods. If you're watching this video and you're around the same age as I am, you know, he has become part of your childhood, my childhood, our childhoods. And while he is very much known for the Dragon Ball series, he not only left a mark on the manga and anime industry, but also in other franchises that I will mention later. Now, of course, everybody knows Dragon Ball Z, and I think even if you ask or talk to non anime fans, chances are, you know, they have heard of Dragon Ball Z. They at least would know Son Goku. And uh, again, even if you're not an anime fan, you definitely have heard of Akira Toriyama sometime, somewhere. So, while he has made an impact through Dragon Ball Z, of course, as a Filipino, my experience with Dragon Ball stems back in the early 1990s, maybe around mid 1990s, when I saw Dragon Ball on TV for the first time. But it wasn't until around 2000 or 2001 that Dragon Ball would probably make a bigger impact uh, in my country when it was acquired by a larger TV station that has a lot more reach, making Dragon Ball more accessible by changing the dubbing from English to Filipino so that more audiences would be able to understand. And again, because that TV station was larger, it had more reach, therefore allowing more people to enjoy Dragon Ball. Well, to be completely honest, well, I'm not the biggest fan of the franchise. I would be lying if I didn't say that I watched Dragon Ball, especially Dragon Ball Z, growing up until Dragon Ball GT at least. Although I wasn't really able to see much of it because when it was airing, I would mostly be at school. Uh, but yeah, I was at least able to see up until Dragon Ball GT, and of course, Dragon Ball media is still very much popular to this day. While for me, the main storyline of Dragon Ball had ended in GT, so Akira Toriyama created new stories. He revived Dragon Ball, particularly from Dragon Ball Z with Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I think it's still Dragon Ball Super right now. So his work still continues until this day, and there are still games out there. In fact, there's a mobile app ongoing. So I think the Dragon Ball series pretty much like everyone knows and everyone still enjoys until this day, allowing for a new generation of anime fans to enjoy such works. Of course, it's not the only thing that uh, Akira Toriyama is very much known for. Well, Dragon Ball is the number one thing. Now, well, I said that in the world, around the world, uh, Akira Toriyama is very much well known. Of course, Uh, in Latin America, I still think Dragon Ball Z also has a major cult following. But when in the United States in the early 2000s, so basically, if you are American and you're watching this video, you probably know this already. Well, I'm not American and I've never been to the United States actually. I'm pretty sure that if you were around in the early 2000s when Toonami first came out in the United States. So, one of the first animes that they've shown was Dragon Ball Z. And I think quite literally it opened up a new world of popularity for the franchise and thus making Akira Toriyama much more well known, not only in Japan but also in the United States and therefore around the world, because well, anything that becomes popular in the United States, I guess uh, tends to spread all around the world anyway. So again, you can imagine like millions of people from you know f- because he's made Dragon Ball at least through many decades, like this accumulated following. Again, not only has he reached uh you know far off places by through his works, but he's also uh impacted generations of uh people. Again, probably kids who have grown up watching Dragon Ball, especially, are pretty much parents at this point, and they've probably uh, they've probably been watching newer episodes of Dragon Ball with their children, and I think that's a good thing. You know, uh, and not only is Akira Toriyama, of course, well known for the Dragon Ball franchise, but he has also a very big impact on the gaming industry as well. So we of course have the Dragon Quest series, which feature character designs by Mr. Toriyama, and well, Chrono Trigger, considered to be one of the best JRPGs and probably even one of the best video games of all time, also feature character designs from him. And well, this game might not be as well known as its other counterparts being released for the Xbox. Well, I think Blue Dragon is also, quite well known because of character designs by Akira Toriyama. And not only did he popularize Dragon Ball, but well, he also created other uh, franchises. So of course, one of his earlier works before Dragon Ball was Doctor Slump, and up until last year at least, he had released a new IP, which is Sandland. Uh, so I think I'm speaking not only for myself, but pretty much everyone who's grown up watching anime that um, Akira Toriyama has impacted our lives. You know, I would remember back in the day when Dragon Ball was at its peak popularity. So when it was re-aired by again a larger TV network, so everybody in school was talking about it. Um, I've played uh, games. I remember having a video game for the PS1. Uh, in fact, I still remember having a couple of action figures. My mom bought me like it was a buy one get one free pack. So uh, the very first Dragon Ball figures I had were of Son Goku, of course, because well he's the main protagonist. I wanted to have the main protagonist. Uh, and then the other figure was actually Trunks, but this was actually like the Cell Saga version of Trunks. So he was wearing the Saiyan battle suit. So basically the same battle suit as his dad, Vegeta, you know. So uh, I was actually waiting for Trunks to appear at some point, but it took like more than five, maybe 6, 7 years before I got to see that version of Trunks. And yeah, if you're going to ask me my favorite Dragon Ball Z character of all time, or uh, my favorite Dragon Ball series character is Trunks. Yeah. Well, again, I don't claim to be the biggest Dragon Ball fan out there, but I at least have a favorite character. And yeah, a lot of experiences there. I remember there's also like a game that we used to play. Like it's like it does look like a patty cake. So you slap you slap your friend's hand, and so you have four actions. So you slap and either charge, defend, punch, or you perform a wave. So so here, so I'm going to explain the rules of this game for a little bit. So of course you start with a pat, and again you choose amongst these four actions which one you want to take. So you win by dealing damage to your opponent. So the only way to deal damage to your opponent would be by two things. So uh, the best opportunity to deal damage to your opponent is when they're charging, because that's when they are vulnerable. So you either punch them or send a wave. However, you can't do the wave unless you have charge. So that's actually a really smart move. So however, if one player punches and the other one sends out a wave, the wave always wins. So if you defend, so of course you protect yourself from punches and waves. So, well, it depends on how many rounds you want to do with your friends, but it was a really fun game that we at least have growing up. So I remember one of my best friends growing up, like he really made amazing Dragon Ball art. Like he drew those characters by himself, and I'm still really impressed that he was able to do that. And again, even if a lot of my friends uh, aren't really otaku or anime lovers in general, but of course, like when we were growing up, Dragon Ball became a part of our childhoods, and I've honestly had a lot of fun memories with my friends through Dragon Ball. So yeah, having such an icon like Akira Toriyama, you know, pass away is a great loss, not only for the anime community, but for pop culture in general. Uh, with Dragon Ball, especially, of course, there are so many references in other media, in other anime like Gintama, and the anime manga series Toriko. Basically is a parody of Dragon Ball Z in a way. Um, yeah, it's uh, if your art or if your works have been referenced so much in many various other works, that's how you know you're popular. And it's really impressive that uh, again, someone like Akira Toriyama is able to do this, and hopefully well, his legacy still his legacy still leaves a mark that probably won't go away soon, and hopefully some of his students would continue working on projects that he left behind. Who knows, maybe someday in the future we could get another Dragon Ball series. Well, of course, not drawn by Akira Toriyama himself. Maybe there are some people who would at least uh, inherent inherit rather, sorry, inherit his art style and create a new Dragon Ball franchise for a new generation of fans to enjoy. So, yeah, uh, it's a great loss, but it, it it's a very valuable legacy that I think he left behind. So with that said, Toriyama sensei, 本当にありがとうございました. Thank you for making our childhoods so amazing. And thank you for giving the world Dragon Ball Z and all of your other works. So I don't want to get copyrighted for this video. So, you know what? I'm gonna leave you with this. So go ahead and look for Bokutachi wa Tenshi datta, which was one of the endings for Dragon Ball Z, particularly during the Cell Saga. But so, like, I think it's the best or the most fitting song that you could listen to. You could do it on loop, in memory of Akira Toriyama. So yeah, go ahead and do that after watching this video. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. And as always, please do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. This has been Philip, and I'll see you next time. Bye.